All right, today we're back and we're going to be doing a repair to the air compressor. Now this one is a Craftsman, 135 PSI, 1 horsepower, 10 gallon. And as you might know by watching my other videos, I run a repair shop and I use an air compressor for everything. It's pretty much the heart of my business. Now I was spraying undercoating on the girlfriend's Jeep and she noticed that my air compressor was smoking. So naturally I shut it off because the last thing I want to do is ruin it because it's pretty much my business. I found that right here, I don't know if you can see that, you should be able to, a crack developed in the casting of this cover. So what it was causing was oil was squirting out of this and it was landing on here where everything gets hot and just smoking. You can see that it's on the side of my box here. So the only thing we're gonna need for this is we're gonna drain the oil. We need a cup to catch it. We're gonna be using a ratchet because I don't have a wrench big enough. This one's a 15/16. That is for the oil drain plug. We need an 8mm and then air compressor oil. Should be the only thing we need to do this job. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna tear this cover off and look at this casting to make sure that there isn't anything laying around in here. And we ended up getting a new case cover for it. This one comes with the oil fill thing right here, and then the sight glass window and the gasket. That is the part number in case if this happens to anyone else. We ended up getting this off of ereplacements.com. It took me a couple hours to figure out where to find parts for this at. It's a discontinued model. My Campbell Housefield lasted me 15 years before it finally gave up. This one lasted a year and a half before I had problems. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this and drain the oil out of it. Have a rag on hand so you don't make a mess of your shop. We're just going to remove the top of this. You don't have to, but we're going to anyway. Yeah, it kind of sucks that a year and a half in and this already had failure, so lesson learned, I guess. Hopefully it won't this time. Hopefully it's just a manufacturing defect. All right, now it's time to remove the fasteners. Like I said, this is an 8mm. And they are in there pretty tight. Now the kit doesn't come with the new fasteners, so you're going to be reusing these. And then we're just going to pull this cover off. Lean it forward a little bit to get the rest of the oil out. I'm also gonna grab a camera, and yeah, a camera. I'm gonna grab a flashlight so we can look in there. Because I want to take a rag and wipe this out too, because I do see debris and dirt sitting at the bottom. And we'll get a good look in there. There we go. So, you got your regular crank like a normal assembly. And then you can see the dirt in the very bottom. So we're gonna get that all wiped out. All right, we got everything in there cleaned out. And before I forget, as if you didn't notice, unplug these before you are messing around in here, changing your oil, whatever. The last thing you want to do is this firing up with no oil in it. I know it's a no-brainer, but I figured for safety reasons, I will mention that in the video. All right, I wanted to stop right now and show you guys something. This is the new cover. This is the old cover. These are designed completely different. This is the one that came with it. This is the new one. Now, the failure point on this one is right in here. You probably can't see that, but it has a crack here. The other side is starting to do the exact same thing. I don't know if it's from fatigue or whatever. But yeah, these are completely shaped different. The gaskets cannot be interchanged. They are completely shaped different. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to use the hardware that came with the new one. Because I don't know if the threads are any different. It's just use the kit as is. Now, another thing I wanted to point out is that there's burrs down in here. You can probably see it right there. So I'm going to take a wire brush and I'm going to clean all the threads and everything out. You don't want metal shavings down into your air compressor, especially when you just get done rebuilding, well, putting a new cover on it. So I figure at least that's worth noting. So I'm going to clean that up and then we'll put it together. All right, so we're ready to install the gasket. And what I like to do with any gasket that comes in contact with oil, just like an oil change, get a little bit of oil on your fingers and just lube up that edge. I don't like to install any gaskets dry when it comes to stuff like this. So you see it's like that. Now we're going to put it into the housing. And we deburred everything. We got everything pretty much how we want it. All right, so the gasket's in. And the same thing with this. Everything is nice and clean. We're going to put a little bit of oil on it. All right. So now we're going to install it. Hold it in place like that. Start putting your screws in. You don't have to tighten them. I wouldn't recommend tightening them up right away. Just get them started. All right, now what I like to do is go pretty much cross-eyed on this. So now what I'll do is I'll take my regular screwdriver and just snug it up. You don't want to go nuts on this. All this is cast aluminum. That's plenty. That's good. And if you notice, after you put oil in here and it tends to leak out of the bottom, snug it a little bit more, because this is probably, since it's brand new, it's gonna probably just settle. Don't use a wrench or a ratchet to put these on. What I'm doing is fine. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is put the sight glass in. And you don't want to go nuts wrenching on that either. Usually just snug is enough. You want to check it for burrs. Make sure there's no metal that can get into your little engine there. And everything seems good. So we're going to go ahead and install that. We're going to use this to put it on, but we're just snugging it. Don't go nuts on that. And that's it. Now I suggest when you use something like this, don't grab it out here and do it. Keep your hand towards the middle. And as soon as it stops, you're done. That's it. So now we're going to go ahead and put oil in it. And you're going to fill it up to the middle of the sight glass. You can see that it's starting to fill up to the dot there. Now, since my floor is at a slight angle, I like to take it up to the top of the dot. And that should be it right there. You want to wipe everything down, because then if it drips, you'll know for sure right away. And I like to keep my stuff clean anyway. So that's pretty much it. Any questions or comments, let me know down below, and thank you for watching.